Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for stopping by my channel once again. I know my channel's kind of all over the place because there's a vlog, there's a bunch of crime things going on, there's one cooking show. I honestly just want to have fun with it. I'm going to post whatever I think of and whatever interests me. And recently what I've been really into with like the start of the new year, my New Year's resolution was to get back into reading because I actually loved reading back in the day. I would read so many books when I was younger. And then when I hit 18, I just got away from it. I don't know what happened. I do know what happened. I started university. I started at university, and in university, there's so many textbook readings you have to do. And as a result, I kind of started associating reading with not a pleasurable thing to do. It was more just, it was for educational purposes. So I felt like I kind of strove away from reading for fun. And also, I feel like I kind of, I hit the end of my fascination with young adult novels. I loved like romance young adult novels, loved Twilight, loved all that. And then I feel like when I hit 18, 19, I kind of just fell out of it and it wasn't interesting me the same way that it did. And I never thought to start reading like adult books, like nonfiction and stuff like that. I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, so I got really out of reading. And recently, with the start of the new year, I've just fallen in love with it again. I'm so into reading again. It's so funny. And I've started following all these booktubers and I'm obsessed. So I thought I would do my own little booktube video, and I wanted to talk about what I read in January because I read 3 books. I was very proud of myself. I'm also going to include a book that I read at the very beginning of February. I finished it on the 2nd, so I consider it almost part of my January reads, honestly. So I'm going to talk about what I read in January, and then I'm going to talk about what I'm going to be reading in February. So I hope you guys enjoy. Yeah, I'm excited. So the first book I read in January was 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. This was written by Yuval Noah Harari. He's really good. I really like him a lot. I honestly saw his book suggested, Homo Sapiens. I saw Homo Sapiens suggested in a bunch of Goodreads and also a bunch of like different areas that I was looking at for reading. I'm honestly embarrassed to say this. I started this book back in July of 2020. Not that it's a bad book. It literally just, I got out of reading again. It was my New Year's resolution for 2020. And then I started reading this book and I don't know what happened. I read it in July, got to like page 100 and then just stopped. And I just stopped reading entirely. So I wanted to finish this book so badly in January. So I got into it. I honestly really enjoyed it a lot. I posted a Goodreads review for this, and I was saying in the review, I felt kind of conflicted on how I wanted to rate the book because I really did enjoy it. I just felt at times that it kind of went on a little too long. Because he was really good. I really enjoyed it a lot. Basically talking about the greatest challenges that we're going to be seeing in our generation is going to be nuclear power, environmental issues, and oh my god, what was the third one? Oh, technological advancement. So the 3 greatest challenges that we're supposed to be facing in the future is going to be nuclear power, environmental change, and technological change. These are going to be the greatest challenges, primarily because everywhere in the world there is nuclear power. There's a risk of nuclear warfare, which is one of the greatest concerns of our generation because we always, even now, at the beginning of 2020, remember we had that big fear that Donald Trump had triggered World War III? Like, there's just this overwhelming fear that there could be a nuclear war. Like, that's the reality of it. If there's a nuclear war, then we're like gone. We're gonzo. So there's constant fear over that. What's going to be the factor that like leads to a nuclear war? So like concerns over that, and whether or not the people who have access to nuclear power, if they're going to be wielding it properly. Technological change, because we're going to see technological advancement, which is going to result in a loss of jobs. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs, and as a result of that, people are going to lose not only financial gains, like they need money to survive, but they also are going to lose their, like, what makes them who they are. A lot of people take pride in their jobs, and they're going to lose that sense of self. So there's a talk about that struggle and that challenge and what we're going to do about that. About UBI, we need to look at a universal basic income basically for people who are going to be out of work because of this mass technological advancement. And then the third challenge was going to be obviously environmental changes that are going on. So like we're seeing the world literally getting warmer. We see global warming happening. we're seeing a lot of the struggles with that and a lot of concerns over that, and that's going to be affecting the future very much so. We have a lot of concerns over that, but because it's a future issue, people put it off, and they put off like doing anything about it, because when we see things like nuclear war, technological change, we see it as a present day issue. Environmental changes, we aren't going to see the consequences of that for a very long time, so we kind of put off dealing with it, or we act like it doesn't exist. So yeah, it was a really good book. I honestly really enjoyed it. The only thing I would say is, like I said in my review, he kind of rambled in this third part, I would say. He was really got into a philosophical point of view, and he was just talking about like culture and about religion, and it kind of got on, like it felt like it was rambling for a little bit, but I really did enjoy this book. I honestly thought he had a lot of good points, and he was a really good author, and I'm so excited. I'm going to be reading Homo Sapiens in February, which obviously that kind of spoils my TBR. But yeah, I'm going to be reading Homo Sapiens in February. That's his first book that he wrote. That's the one he's critically known for, and I'm hoping to read that soon. It's a big book, so I have to get to that. But yeah, I'm really excited to read it, and I had a really good time reading this book. If you guys are looking for a nonfiction book, this is really good. I really enjoyed it, honestly. The second book I read was Maisie Dobbs, and it was written by Jacqueline Winspear. I think that's how you say her name. I don't have it with me right now. I rented it from the library. I'm all about borrowing things from the library because 1, it's economical, 2, it's good for the environment because you're not buying more books and hurting the environment. Although you obviously want to support your favorite authors in the community, you want to do that because they're all doing their best. They're creating this wonderful world for you to jump into. So obviously you want to support your favorite writers. I'm just trying to be good right now. I'm trying to be economical, environmental, and also I'm planning on moving, as you guys know from the first video. I'm moving. I'm going to be moving probably in September, so I really am trying to not buy more things to the best of my ability. So yeah, I've been renting a lot of books. Honestly, really liked it. It was like a really easy, adorable read. I honestly found it because I was looking for an adult Nancy Drew book, because I loved Nancy Drew when I was a kid. So I wanted to find a book that was like a series of like this woman investigating crime that was happening in the area. I just thought it was really cute. And I saw it and I thought it was really cute, and I read it and it was honestly really sweet. It was a really like easy, innocent read. Like, it was cute. I liked it. It's based in the 1920s. I believe, no, 1930s, sorry. It's based in 1930s. It follows the adventures of Maisie Dobbs. She is this protege. She's really smart, and she is very empathetic, so she ends up really relating to her clients, and she has this superior knowledge to everybody else that nobody knows why she's so smart, but she is. And she has really good instinct, which it impacts her ability to do her job. And yeah, it was a really cute little book. It's based in the 1930s. It talks about her trauma going through World War I, and how she ended up going into the work she did. I actually thought it was interesting because the first like little bit of the book, you're looking at present day Maisie Dobbs. So she's opening her firm, and it's talking about how she's like getting her first client. And then it ends up going for about 100 pages or so, or like half the book talks about, flashes back to when she was younger and when she started working for this woman as a servant. She was like a house cleaner or something like that. And the lady ended up really enjoyed her and saw that she was really smart, and she ended up offering her this opportunity to be educated and to walk in the footsteps of her close friend, who is also kind of like a detective therapist person. So she ended up offering him that opportunity. So it talks about Maisie's childhood, how she grew up to do what she did. She ended up going to college, and she ended up going into the war, and I really liked it. It's honestly like a sweet read. I would say between 3 and 4 stars. It was really cute. I just liked it, and it was just a little soft read. It was cute. I read it within like a few days, and it was cute. If you're looking for like a book that kind of reminds you of Nancy Drew, definitely read this book. Unfortunately, there was no Sundays at the end of the book. They didn't have any Sundays because they finished the crime, which I was kind of disappointed about, but you know, what you gonna do, right? So the third book I read in January, which is the last book I read in January, was Rebecca. I don't even know if I have it on my Kobo. Oh yeah, there you go, Rebecca. I read Rebecca. It was actually a book club recommendation. I'm a part of a book club right now. I joined it on Discord because I'm like lonely and sad. I'm just kidding. I honestly just want to join a book club because I always thought they sounded really cool. My mom was a part of a book club. I wanted to be a part of a book club, so I was like, I'm going to do this. So I ended up joining a book club on Discord. I can link it down below if you guys are interested at all. I joined it because a YouTuber I watch, Victoria Shaz, she's really into books and she started it, and I thought it was cute. And I'm also following, oh my god, what's her name? Noelle. There's a booktuber named Noelle, and she's really great. I'll link hers down below as well. And she's amazing. I love her so much. And she's also a redhead. And she's also at the book club right now if you guys want to join one. Rebecca was really good. I really enjoyed Rebecca. It was by Daphne du Maurier. She's French, I believe. I'm sorry if I botched her name. I'm not French speaking. I'm not Quebecois. But yeah, it was a really good book. Honestly, it gave me Wuthering Heights vibes, if I'm being honest with you, with like a 20th century spin. So Rebecca is about a woman. She's very poor. Well, not very poor. She doesn't have much money. She actually acts as a companion to rich old women, and she's a companion, not in a sexual way, but sorry, she's a companion. Like, she just travels around with them. She does like housekeeping, and she's just like their paid friend basically. And she ends up meeting this recent widowed man there, and his name's Maximilian, I think it is, Max. And she ends up falling in love with him, and he ends up proposing marriage to her after like hanging out for like a week or two. Takes her back to his mansion, the Manderley, I think that's what it's called, and it's like this beautiful mansion that his widowed wife had actually like made it to be what it is today. It wasn't that nice of a mansion. Then she dolled it all up, and it looked fantastic. And all this woman sees is the remnants of Rebecca, his widowed wife. So she feels like she's a replacement of Rebecca, but she'll never amount to the same worth or value as Rebecca did, because she feels like total lower crust kind of thing. It just goes through her psyche and like how she like keeps comparing herself to Rebecca, and she feels like she's inadequate. And it's really an interesting book because it kind of became like a mystery somewhere in between. And I was like, oh, didn't see that coming. Which I probably should have, but it was a really good book, honestly. If you guys are looking for a 20th century like mystery gothic romance, it's really good. So yeah, those were all my January reads. However, one read that was a TBR, I was going to tell you guys I was going to read in February, but I'm just going to tell you now because I'm filming this late. I was going to read The Woman in the Window, which I ended up doing. It's by AJ Finn, and it was recommended by Gillian Flynn, actually. Oh, that's so funny, Gillian Flynn. But yeah, so Gillian Flynn is the one who wrote Gone Girl, which is like really good. So I was like really in it. I was really intrigued that she was recommending this book. So I thought that was great. So The Woman in the Window, I saw someone recommending this on BookTube, and I was like, that sounds interesting. It's basically about a woman. She's recently separated, and she has agoraphobia, so she's stuck in her house. And she ends up just watching the neighbors for fun and gets wine drunk every day. And she's honestly such a great character. I really enjoyed this character. I felt like she was really relatable, and she was flawed and beautiful, and I just really liked her a lot. And I thought it was such a cute little book. It's basically a thriller mystery novel, because what happens is obviously she's observing the neighbors every day, watching what they're doing and stuff like that, getting drunk, and she sees something crazy happen one day at her neighbor's house, and nobody believes her. So like, it's a really good book. I really enjoyed this. Honestly, probably one of my favorite reads of January/February, and it was really good. It's pretty big, I guess. Like, it's kind of big, but I got through it. Actually, I finished this in 2 days, and I'm not like an avid reader, so like that says how much I like this book. I really enjoyed it. So if you guys are looking for a thriller, like mystery novel, really good. So now I'm going to talk about the books I'm going to be reading in February. So obviously, because I read Maisie Dobbs, I wanted to read the sequel. I think there's like 16 books in the series. It's so cute. I think it's really cute. So I started Birds of a Feather, which is the second book. I got this one for the library as well. And it's really cute so far. I think I'm only like 20 pages in. I just started it yesterday, and then I fell asleep. So do you guys find that? I find I fall asleep right after reading a book. Like, I have the best sleep. I don't know what's going on. It's changed my life. So far, it's just another crime book about her solving a mystery. So I'm not far enough in. I'm kind of the worst when it comes to reading synopsises. I didn't really read it, but I'm assuming it'll be good. I like the first one, so I'll read this one, you know? So the second book I really want to read in February is going to be Sapiens. I really want to read Sapiens. This is the book, this is the first book that Yuval Noah Harari, that he wrote. This is the first one, and I read the third book. I'm kind of reading it in reverse at this point, but this one just talks about the past. It talks about the past, or the history of humankind, and I love this kind of stuff. I think it's so fun. So it's a nonfiction book if you guys are looking for something like this, or I know there's Gun, Sweat, and Steel or something like that as well. It's supposed to be really good as well. I have to read that. But yeah, I love history books, so I'm really excited to read this. And Bill Gates recommends it, so regardless of what you feel about Bill Gates, probably has good taste, right? He's rich. He's had lots of books he can read. A book that I wasn't expecting to actually get this soon, because went to borrow it from the library and they said, oh, there's 6 copies taken out and there's 12 people waiting to borrow the book. And I was like, oh, I'm probably not going to get this. But I ended up getting it. They sent me an email yesterday and were like, hey, this book is ready for you. And I was like, cool, that's great. So I'm going to be trying to read Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. And it looks really good. Its synopsis for this book says that this woman, her 15-year-old daughter goes missing, and about 3 years afterwards, because of the stress of everything with her daughter going missing, her and her husband separated. And it isn't until 10 years later, after her daughter's disappearance, that she meets someone and it goes really well. And eventually she ends up meeting his 3 daughters, and one of the girls bears a striking resemblance to her daughter that's missing. So it like jolts her back and takes her back in time to when her daughter was around. It was super weird. So it's like a mystery as well. It sounds really good. It's obviously a New York Times bestseller, because what book isn't now? And I'm really intrigued to see what's going to happen, honestly. I need to hurry up and read all these library books because they're all due on the same day. They're due on February 20th, so I need to hurry the hell up. So the final book I want to read in February is by Alyssa Cole, and it's called When No One Is Watching. And this one really interests me. I couldn't wait for it, because I remember I saw this on for the library, and it was going to take forever to get it. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go out. I'm going to splurge. I'm going to buy this book. I'm kind of upset about it because I was buying it because it said it was 40% off, and then they didn't take the discount off at Walmart. So I'm a little butthurt about that. But you know what? It's done. It's done. So this book is really interesting from what I've read. It sounds like this woman lives in a Brooklyn neighborhood where she's always grown up, and every time she blinks, the neighborhood's changing. There's new people coming in, and all the people she lived with, like in her neighborhood, are like no longer there anymore. And it is a Black community, and from what I'm hearing, it's a story about gentrification. So like the community is getting built up on, rich white folk are coming in and taking over the area, and they're building it up, and like the property values are going up, whatever. And she thinks it's really strange because she's like, oh, I don't know where all my neighbors went, basically. And from what I'm understanding, she starts doing a walking tour through the Brooklyn neighborhood, and slowly she starts realizing that there's no record of her neighbors ever living there. So where'd they go, right? Like that's really weird that there's no record of them ever living there. And she doesn't know if they actually moved to the suburbs like she was told. She doesn't know what happened to them. So it becomes something much more sinister. So it sounds like a psychological thriller, and it sounds really interesting. I'm like, yes. I'm like, this sounds great. Yeah, I'm really excited. Even the picture like in the front is really pretty. Like I really like the cover, to be honest with you. Never thought I'd be a cover girl, but yeah. So like those are all the books that I want to read in February. Those are the books that I read in January, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna post more hopefully soon. Hopefully I'll read more books than I said in this post. Hopefully I'll read more books than I said I would. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a comment and a like and let me know how you feel about the video. What are you guys reading in February? Honestly, I'd love some suggestions. I love nonfiction books. That's my favorite genre. And then mystery and thriller are my second favorite. So please make suggestions. I honestly love it. And I'm also going to link my Goodreads account down below so you guys can follow. We could be reading buddies. It'll be fun. All right. Have a good day, guys. Bye.